The air in the courtroom felt heavier than usual, as if even the walls sensed the storm brewing. Cameras clicked outside like restless thunder while fans on social media exploded with theories. What began as a routine hearing between global superstar Drake and music giant UMG quickly spiraled into something far more unsettling. Tweets flooded in, "This is bigger than music. This is war," one fan declared, while another wrote, "UMG is shaking. Drake is about to flip the industry on its head." But inside the courthouse, the tension was sharper than any hashtag. From the very first gavel strike, the judge's piercing gaze told a different story. Observers expected UMG's lawyers to stumble, but instead they struck back with calculated precision. Each rebuttal landed like a well-aimed spear, forcing the judge to pause, lean back, and rethink critical arguments. Commentators outside rushed to post updates. UMG is not folding, they are playing chess while everyone else plays checkers. Yet the true shock came when Drake's own legal team stepped up. Instead of dominating the room, they found themselves under relentless fire. The judge dissected their claims line by line, almost as if daring them to prove every word. This relentless scrutiny explains why the case refuses to die. For weeks, fans expected an easy dismissal, but the courtroom drama revealed deeper layers. At stake is not just a celebrity feud but the very meaning of art itself. When a rap lyric sounds like a dagger aimed at someone's reputation, is it still just music? The judge seemed determined to peel back every layer of intent, culture, and audience perception, no matter how complicated the debate became. Each argument exposed the gray zone where music and defamation collide. Listeners hear lyrics through personal filters. What one person celebrates as clever wordplay another may feel as a direct attack. There is no universal rule for emotional impact, which makes the case a maze of ambiguity. Social media only sharpened the chaos. Threads on X and Reddit burned with comments like, "If art stops being free, rap is over," while others countered, "Freedom of speech is not freedom to destroy someone's life." With every opinion dividing the crowd, Drake's defense faced a rising tide of doubt. Then came the moment that set every phone buzzing. The judge suddenly brought up the tailor-made freestyle, a track that had quietly lingered in the background of legal filings. Unlike the widely discussed "Not Like Us," this freestyle had escaped the media frenzy until now. The judge's question cut like lightning: why had Drake's team ignored this piece while arguing so fiercely over the others? The courtroom froze. Reporters whispered. Fans gasped online. That single omission hinted at something far more damaging than anyone expected. By spotlighting that forgotten freestyle, the court sent a chilling signal: every lyric counts. Nothing could be brushed aside as harmless parody. Legally, the rule is clear. At this stage, if a statement can possibly be seen as defamatory, the claim lives on. No excuses. No shortcuts. If even a single listener could interpret a lyric as a factual attack rather than an opinion, the benefit belongs to the accuser. The case marches forward. This brutal reality now looms over Drake's defense team. Lyrics that once felt playful may suddenly carry the weight of legal ammunition. Fans who once cheered now whisper, "Is there something Drake does not want the world to hear?" The betrayal cuts both ways, between artist and audience, between music and meaning. What started as a clash of rhymes has transformed into a showdown over truth itself. And as every social feed lights up with fresh outrage, one question remains: will Drake's words become his greatest weapon, or his ultimate downfall? The tension inside the courtroom did not just rise, it detonated. As the gavel echoed like a gunshot, the judge's next words sliced through the air: context, word choice, audience perception. These determine whether a lyric is a statement of fact. The crowd went silent. Phones lit up instantly. A single post on X read, "This judge is rewriting music history in real time." What everyone felt but no one said aloud was suddenly undeniable: intent was dead. Perception now ruled. It was a devastating revelation for Drake's defense. The judge did not care what the rapper meant in his studio at 3 a.m. She cared only about what a reasonable listener could believe after hearing those bars. If even one person, listening on the subway or scrolling on TikTok, could interpret a lyric as a factual claim about Drake, then the case could not be dismissed. Not tomorrow. Not ever. The message landed like a hammer blow: the artist's private meaning is irrelevant when the public's takeaway carries weight. When the judge cited appellate precedent, her tone hardened. Words like could and susceptible suddenly became weapons. Legal analysts online erupted. One post that went viral within minutes said, "This is a nightmare scenario for every rapper alive." Another fan commented, "Drake might have just lost the shield of artistic freedom." Inside the courtroom, Drake's lead attorney, Go Toddle, tried to pivot the argument, but the judge cut him off mid-sentence. A flash of frustration crossed her face, a silent signal that patience was over. The defense's logic was crumbling. Then came the twist that sent chills down every spine. The judge reminded everyone of Rule 201, judicial notice can be taken at any stage. That meant the court could officially consider the lyrics themselves, not later, not hypothetically, but right now. It was a legal earthquake. Every metaphor, every double entendre, every whispered rumor baked into those verses could now be examined as potential fact. Social feeds ignited with panic. One streamer shouted on a live broadcast, "This changes everything. Every punchline is now evidence." Desperate to regain footing, the defense argued that at this early stage, every inference must favor the plaintiff and that outside materials should not be allowed to strengthen allegations. The judge's reply cut sharper than before. The tracks, "Not Like Us," and the "tailor-made freestyle" were already public record and could not simply be swept aside. Reporters in the gallery exchanged stunned glances. The defense had just exposed its softest underbelly, and the judge had no intention of letting them hide it. By zeroing in on the tailor-made freestyle, the judge signaled something chilling: every bar would now stand naked before the law. No abstraction. No safe metaphors. Each lyric had to speak plainly or risk being treated as a factual claim. Drake's lawyers suddenly faced an impossible question: how do you prove that an ordinary listener would not believe what they hear? The strategy of burying art in abstract explanations collapsed like paper in a storm. And then the firestorm hit. The judge shifted to what many feared most: the explosive lyrics hinting at underage relationships in the context of the AI-generated Tupac voice. The courtroom felt electric, as though everyone sensed the next words could ignite a global scandal. Fans outside screamed into their phones, live streaming raw disbelief. "This is no longer about rap beef," one comment read. "This is about crimes, reputations, and the future of free expression itself." By the time the gavel fell again, the legal landscape had transformed beyond recognition. What started as a fight over hip-hop bravado now teeters on the edge of a cultural earthquake. Every rhyme, every sly reference is suddenly radioactive. And as social media spins with rage and fear, one haunting truth remains: in the eyes of the law, what people believe they heard may matter more than anything Drake ever meant to say. The judge's voice cut through the silence like a knife. She pointed straight at the heart of the controversy. The bars many believe are a direct shot from Drake toward Kendrick Lamar, lyrics that echo long-circulating rumors about predatory behavior. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Phones lit up as live tweets exploded. The judge just went there. This is no longer just about music beef. No one expected the court to drag such whispers into the open, but there it was, now part of the official record. Every time Drake's defense tried to explain, the judge interrupted. No vague statements. No legal dance. She demanded facts. What, she asked, could those lyrics possibly mean if not the dark allegations fans have whispered about for years? Each interruption tightened the atmosphere like a vice. One journalist live streaming outside wrote, "You can hear the oxygen leaving the room." The stakes suddenly felt life or death. Her relentless questioning revealed why the moment was so dangerous for Drake. In defamation law, it is not the artist's intent that matters, it is what a reasonable listener could believe. Plausibility and perception outweigh intention. By hammering on the tailor-made freestyle, the judge sent a stark message: no cherry-picking. Every word, every hidden reference, every sly implication would be dissected in full context. The entire battlefield of lyrics was now under the microscope. For Drake's team, the mission is clear but brutal: prove that these lines are pure metaphor, not factual claims. For Kendrick's side, the opportunity is wide open. They can argue that the lyric planted a specific, damaging idea in millions of minds. Social feeds caught fire. One viral comment screamed, "This is bigger than a lawsuit, it is character assassination in real time." Another warned, "If this precedent stands, every diss track in history is evidence waiting to be used." What followed felt like a philosophical showdown. Drake's attorney pleaded that the judge view the lyrics as part of a single, larger narrative, competitive rap as theater, overflowing with braggadocio and playful jabs. He compared pulling out one bar to quoting a single sentence of a novel and calling it autobiography. But the judge was unmoved. In defamation, she reminded, one sentence is enough if it convinces an average listener of a factual claim. The entire room seemed to shrink as those words landed. The plaintiff's team seized the moment. They painted the lyric as a surgical strike, carefully designed to make ordinary fans believe something terrible. They brought digital receipts, screenshots of viral posts, reaction videos, and comment threads where listeners debated whether Drake was confessing to real misconduct. This evidence, they argued, proves perception is already doing the damage. Drake's defense tried to counter, calling the song a boxing match with words, built on metaphor and exaggeration, never meant to be literal. But the judge kept cutting in, demanding clarity. At one point she leaned forward, zeroing in on a single explosive line from "Not Like Us," and asked for a precise explanation of how it should be understood. The sound of shuffling papers and tightening voices told the story. the defense had no easy answer. This back and forth captured the core conflict: whether a single lyric can break free from the song that holds it and carry defamatory meaning on its own. For Kendrick's lawyers, the answer is yes. For Drake's team, allowing that idea would destroy the protective walls of hip-hop artistry. In that high-stakes standoff, the courtroom transformed into something larger than a legal venue. It became an arena where the future of creative freedom itself was on trial. Questions about how an ordinary listener actually hears a lyric now filled the courtroom like a rising tide. The judge leaned forward, her tone sharp, asking how the law should measure an average listener in a genre where irony, exaggeration, and coded slang are the very blood of the music. The gallery stilled as the first expert witness, a seasoned linguist, explained how hip-hop audiences are fluent in double meanings and hidden messages, trained to catch signals that outsiders might miss. Then a music historian added that diss tracks have always thrived on exaggeration meant to provoke reaction, not to state fact. For a moment, the defense seemed to breathe easier. But the relief shattered when Kendrick's lawyers fired back. They unveiled polling data showing that a significant percentage of casual listeners believed the lyric described a real event. The courtroom temperature spiked. Social media detonated. The data proves people think it is real, one viral post declared, while another warned, every rapper should be watching this case right now. That single set of numbers could swing the case, because in defamation law, plausible interpretation often matters more than an artist's intention. The tension was electric as the judge clasped her hands and fixed her gaze on each lawyer who dared to dodge her questions. She was clearly ready to peel back every layer of artistic framing, line by line, to find the potential harm hidden inside. Legal reporters exchanged quick glances, silently agreeing that history might be unfolding before their eyes. Some whispered about a new frontier, comparing it to the early obscenity trials when courts first wrestled with defining what made a book or movie unacceptable, or to the first internet defamation cases when judges had to decide whether a single tweet or meme could ruin a reputation. This case, they said, could change everything. If the ruling tilts toward Kendrick Lamar, diss tracks might gain stronger protection as pure artistic metaphor. Artists could sharpen their lyrical blades without fear of a courtroom ambush. Free speech advocates cheered from afar, this is how culture evolves, let art stay dangerous. But if the ruling favors Drake, a different reality looms. Labels may start demanding legal reviews before releasing any track. Streaming services could quietly introduce content filters to flag potentially defamatory lyrics. Even die-hard fans might notice algorithms muting songs deemed too risky. The stakes stretch far beyond two superstar rivals. Contracts could morph overnight, with stricter clauses forcing artists to shoulder legal fallout for every word they spit. Managers might require crash courses in lyrical law, just as pro athletes get media training boot camps. The ripple effects could reach playlists and feeds worldwide, as recommendation algorithms learn to dodge controversy to protect companies from lawsuits. As the hearing edged toward conclusion, one truth echoed through the marble walls: the court was not just listening to a rap battle. It was laying down the blueprint for how music, speech, and law will collide in the streaming era. Each question from the bench sounded less like a query and more like a warning. Whatever the final decision, the culture of diss tracks, and maybe the future of free artistic expression itself, was about to change forever. By late afternoon, the courthouse had become more than a legal venue, it was a stage where culture itself clashed. Fans in hoodies and designer jackets filled every bench, some proudly wearing merch from both Drake and Kendrick, as if pledging allegiance to the spectacle itself. Others balanced phones high to live stream for thousands waiting outside. Journalists wedged between spectators, thumbs flying to send every twist to millions of followers. Security guards stood like stone, scanning for the single shout or sudden surge that could erupt at any moment. Twice the judge warned the gallery to stay silent. Twice the buzz only dimmed, never died. Behind that almost electric crowd, the legal duel grew razor-sharp. Kendrick's team reached back through centuries of law, citing English common law battles over pamphlets and poets to prove that words can wound like weapons. Drake's lawyers countered with modern precedents from music, comedy, and political satire, pleading for broad constitutional protection for art. At one point the judge tilted her head and asked a question that froze even veteran attorneys: what about AI? Could a synthetic voice or deepfake lyric face the same rules? The thought lingered like a lightning flash, hinting that this single case might shape the next decade of music disputes. Outside, the world pulsed in sync with every gavel strike. Hashtags about the hearing dominated trending lists. Fans treated legal motions like remix drops, while think pieces and podcasts dissected testimony as if breaking down a beat. Some argued hip-hop itself was under siege. Others framed the fight as long overdue accountability for celebrity culture. Rival artists jumped in with sly comments, some warning that rap battles might lose their edge, others claiming this trial would ultimately free artists to speak with even sharper tongues. When the judge finally adjourned, no one mistook the day for routine procedure. The debate had leapt beyond a single lyric into a larger question: can a line born in art be weaponized in court? Could a metaphor become fact if enough listeners believed it? Lawyers packed their folders, but everyone in the gallery sensed they had witnessed a piece of history. The verdict, whenever it lands, will reverberate across every